the ultra-talented McKenzie.
It's instilled regard to win.
Firenze Fire wins the Jerome.
This is the Road to the Kentucky Derby, presented by Woodford Reserve. As the road continues for the now 3-year-olds, we travel from coast to coast as contenders compete for early points toward their entry into the Kentucky Derby. The first stop in 2018 takes us to Santa Anita Park and the Sham Stakes.
McKenzie fast into stride with all-out blitz.
4-time Kentucky Derby winner Bob Baffert's undefeated heavy favorite, McKenzie, strides clear from the field.
But it's a domineering display by the ultra-talented McKenzie as he takes the Sham while well in hand.
From Santa Anita, the road goes cross-country to Aqueduct for the rescheduled Jerome Stakes. Firenze Fire, who won at Belmont in October, was on fire once again in New York as he earned another 10 points, moving him to number 2 on the leaderboard.
Firenze Fire chasing as hard as he can, and he's now coming at him. Firenze Fire gradually getting to 7 trumpets. Here is the line. Firenze Fire wins the Jerome.
Later that day in the $200,000 Lecomte, a huge field from all over the country gathered in New Orleans at the historic Fairgrounds Racecourse.
We're celebrating actually the 300th anniversary of New Orleans this year in 18. So coinciding with that we have the Fairgrounds, 146 years of tradition of racing, going along with the deep history of New Orleans. Nationwide, trainers are very interested in coming to Fairgrounds. There's what we call it pretty much the big 3 as far as the weather and the food and the quality of racing in New Orleans.
The Lecomte Stakes is a grade 3 event, going to mile 70. Granted, since it's the first leg, it's the shortest leg. And the Risen Star will stretch it out, and the Louisiana Derby will stretch them out even further to get them ready for the 1.25 miles for the Derby.
The spacing of the races, as far as 3-year-old races, here at New Orleans gives us plenty of time to develop. Lecomte being the first in 3-race series here, and obviously feel like we have some very talented individuals going out today.
It seems like we've got some good nationwide buzz. We've had horses come from all over the country for our first stage, and trainers look to the Fairgrounds to lead their horses in the right directions to get them to the Kentucky Derby.
The thing I like about prepping here is their racetrack is very kind to horses. Usually the weather is very good. I also like the fact that it's got a really long stretch here. It's just a great place to train and prep them through.
Yeah, Prince Epic Guerrero that's proven over this track, that's proven over the Churchill track.
Absolutely the horse to beat in here. He's won his first 2 starts by a combined 18 lengths.
He's got a lot of fans behind him.
We were fortunate enough to see him at Churchill Downs, electrifying debut, and really lost no luster here in the prep for this.
Main foe on paper, Ed, is Instilled Regard, coming in from California, trained by Jerry Hollendorfer, who in the last 5 years has only run 1 horse here at the Fairgrounds.
You have a handful for Larry Jones. It looks very tough. We'll see how he fares with these 3. And Asmussen also has a couple behind Prince Epic Guerrero.
Jerry Hollendorfer, to me, a lot of confidence to ship here against the likes of these. A couple Racing Hall of Fame trainers going at it.
That being said, Hollendorfer knows what he's doing. Our surface is similar to Churchill. So maybe Jerry's trying to figure out, maybe his horse likes long stretch, he can handle the distance.
And they're off in the Lecomte Stakes. Principe Guilherme, who's vying for the early lead, and Instilled Regard is also going to the charge into the first turn. They're into the stretch. Instilled Regard has taken the lead with 1 more furlong to go. Principe Guilherme with a grinding run on the outside, but well inside the final half furlong with Javier Castellano. It's Instilled Regard to win the Lecomte Stakes by 3.5 lengths.
We haven't been around here much, but this was a good race to run in, and the timing on it was pretty good too.
I think it's a good idea for you to come back for the Risen Star.
Maybe so.
The year has started with some outstanding races, but trainers know there is much work to do before arriving at Churchill Downs on the first Saturday in May.
I don't think that any of today's performances would be good enough for the Derby, but we're trying to use it as a stepping stone to get where we all want to be.
The road to the Kentucky Derby has been brought to you by Woodford Reserve.